Hey, hey. Hi, guys. Hi, Gian. Good to see you. Thank you for popping by. So this is going to be a single storyline. It's the only one I was able to get out this week. I'm sorry I've been away most all of the week, but let's go ahead. And I normally always do the single stories on Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. So forgive me for missing most of the week. We got a family emergency that is kind of settling down, but yeah, thank you guys for your patience. So here's what I want to ask. And I'll be doing this same storyline for each zodiac later, but specifically for our singles, because in the other zodiacs, they may or may not be single characters, we're going to ask, what's the thing that's been growing? What has changed? What has evolved? What has been nurtured? You know, we always tend to see the thing grow that we give the most energy to. So I just want to ask the question, since we're in front of a backdrop with lots of green, and I wanted to talk about nurturing and growth and change and everything of abundance. What has our character been growing? And it says, count your chickens. The fact that, hey, Angel, the fact that we've got someone who is literally, she's got, actually, I would wear this in a flash, all of these gorgeous feathers, and she's got a rooster up at the top here and a little basket of eggs. There's that old adage, don't count your chickens before they hatch. This says, count your chickens. This says, what's been growing? Well, it's time that somebody actually tallies things up. Maybe it's time that our character actually looks at their bank account. Maybe it's time that a character actually stops and looks in the mirror and sees how much they've accomplished. It's sometimes we kind of get into that zombie like routine of like, I got to just go to work every day, I got to just do this every day, and we don't really stop and appreciate or admire what we've accomplished, how much we've learned. And maybe somebody's like, what do you mean, like I'm a checker at a grocery store? What do you mean what I've accomplished? And it's like, well, probably there are customers that only want to go through that checker's line because there's been relationships developed, maybe even friendships that have come out of it. Maybe it's like, oh, I love seeing that person. Yep, I see them every Tuesday when they pop in, or like there are things that we develop. There are connections, there are good vibes, there are all kinds of tiny little details of our life that we might have actually developed something that adds joy to our lives, or we're adding joy to others' life, or we're actually developing like relationships that are, sometimes the more a boss sees an employee who is consistently like sought after by their clientele, guess what? That employee is moving right up in that boss's mind of, this is my MVP, this is my most valuable employee right now, because look at how they respond to customers and how customers respond to them. My point is, there are little teeny tiny things that every person on earth, every character on earth does, that they overlook as like trivial when it may not be. It could be, sometimes the trivial things are the most important things because they compound and we don't really notice them until we step back. So this is an encouragement to step back and actually see the positive impact, however small we may think it is, however trivial we may think it is. Our character needs to step back and actually notice what they have acquired, accumulated, the things that they've done, because this is the key to unlocking something. Let's ask, actually, instead of me saying it, let's ask what will be unlocked here. I'm guessing it's going to be something pretty awesome, but let's let the cards do the talking. We have got a Woman of Wands in the reverse. So, I mean, I hate to say it this way, but if we step back and we view ourselves the way other people view us, we count up the things we've done well, we count up our successes, it may shed light all of a sudden on why we got a hater. Okay. I know it's not fun to talk about the haters, but look, a Queen of Wands in the reverse is straight up jealous every single time, for me anyway. When I see that, I go, oh no, we've got somebody who is, throwing those daggers with their eyes in somebody's direction. It's like, why do they act like that toward me? Why? Because you're freaking fantastic and it makes them feel small. They want to be more fantastic than you. You didn't know there was a competition, but this person did. Like that's the vibe. That's what this character, they might have if they could step back and see themselves the way the rest of the world sees them, however small their accomplishments are in their own mind, that ain't how they come across to this Queen of Wands who is jealous of all that they are. And understanding that jealousy can come in a lot of different packages. Sometimes it just has the power to make somebody feel sad or bad because they're like, I don't know why this person hates me. And it's like, maybe that person doesn't hate you. That person wants to be you. Like it's a whole different thing. Somebody who takes the time to keep us on their radar, that's because that's all they think about is that competition. So maybe they don't hate you. They wish that they were you. That's a whole different thing. Three of Wands, the Moon, and the Nine of Wands. I gotta say, this is going to be a powerful breakthrough for our lead character, but it begins with them first acknowledging what they've accomplished, who they are, and then they can finally get out of their own they're able to see themselves in a more fair light, and that puts this into perspective. And as soon as they put that into perspective, guess what? They can move on. They don't have to worry about someone who was salty, somebody that was petty, somebody that didn't treat them right. Our character has this breakthrough, and it's all about the future now. The only thing they got to do is move forward. Now, do they need to even keep this Queen of Wands, the salty Queen of Wands in the reverse on their mind, in the back of their mind? No, no. And keep in mind, that could be an ex. That could be like, I never understood why an ex treated me like crap. Well, partners can be jealous too. Partners can, and that's a weird thing to think, but sometimes masculines, feminines, doesn't matter what combo we're talking about, they can be jealous too. They can want to, if they feel disempowered and they're small enough because they've got this karmic lesson that they need to learn about themselves and their own self-worth, they can hit back at the person who they view as better than them. This person didn't do anything to try to strut their stuff and act better than them, but someone who's in a small-minded energy, a sense of lack in themselves, could they strike at our lead character and try to diminish their confidence? Yeah. And if our character doesn't recognize, oh, that's why they did this, it's the jealous streak that they're suffering from, it can be really hurtful. Now they put that into perspective, our character moves on, they move forward. And yes, there is still, we got the dinosaurs here, right? So we've got these little velociraptors or whatever. I don't know what one this is. But we've got these little, I haven't watched Jurassic Park in a long time. I need to brush up on my dinosaur species. But the memories of the past will stay with them, but it doesn't impede their progress moving forward. So what has grown is our character has seen themselves through a better lens, and it's given them perspective on someone else's past bad behavior, and they keep that lesson with them, but they move forward. Will they need to continue to remember this? No. Will they need to keep monitoring, like, oh, what that person thinking of me now? No. Probably it's better if that's just a mystery. Like, who cares what the haters are thinking? The only person that's sour is the people that are busy doing the hating. So maybe it's a little bit better to not have to question or wonder, like, wow, I don't want to ruminate too much on why were they so jealous of me. I just want to move forward. Let that be a mystery that they need to solve. I don't need to know why they were jealous of me. They need to know why they were jealous of me. I think that's like a really profound thing, because I know like I'm strong Virgo, even though I don't identify as a Virgo, which is so funny. But one Virgo trait that they say there is that people can like overanalyze stuff. And I will say that I have overanalyzed, like a situation, not like this, like, I'm so great, why don't they like me? It's not that, but like just anything in life I can like really ruminate over when I don't understand someone's behavior. And I think this is such a great thing. I don't need to understand their behavior. They need to understand their behavior. That's just a separate thing that I can totally relate to. I'm saying, even if this wasn't the situation, I think that is an important message to recognize when it's not our job to understand someone's behavior. It's their job to understand their behavior. That allowing the mystery to exist is kind of a cool thing to be comfortable with. I know, I just think that that's a separate message. And I think it spoke to me. And I thought, oh, that's actually a good thing to point out. But in the context of this storyline, it's like, we don't need to think anymore about that Queen of Wands, is how this comes across. Instead, you notice we got this busy little bee who's buzzing around. This is the Nine of Wands. It's usually the wounded warrior who's back into the battle, ready to fight again, ready to keep busy with whatever pursuits our character has. Our character is no longer concerning themselves with that Queen of Wands, whomever that hater was, whether it was an ex, whether it was a colleague, whether it was a family member, whoever has been hating on them. It no longer matters. That mystery won't be solved because they ain't got time for it. this character needs to move on forward, and that's what they're doing. Busy little bee. They got honey to make. They got sweet stuff to look forward to. I love the fact that this wounded warrior is a honeybee, just because the effort that they're going to put into their life is going to be sweet. It's going to produce something sweet. We get the hanged man, got the seven of swords in the reverse. Our character is possibly also recognizing right now that the things that they're growing in is they are they're able to see that I got other fish to fry. I got other things to do, a lot more sweetness to make in my life. But I want to be mindful about my steps moving forward. Maybe I want to be more mindful about who I let into my life, who I share my energy with. Maybe that's one of the keys. I'm feeling like that Queen of Wands. I'm sorry, I just said we're not going to talk about them now. I returned to them immediately. But if this Queen of Wands was someone that they let into their life, which they probably did since it's had the power to kind of like hurt their feelings, I'm guessing that they're using this as a lesson to say, hey, maybe I need to slow down and get to know people better before I just let them too deeply into my world where their opinion impacts me too much. Because you know what? I'm sorry. This is going to sound so sassy, so rude. I always feel like I'm so mouthy in these single stories. But not everyone is qualified to give an opinion. Do they have a right to? Sure. Everybody has a right to have their opinion. But is their opinion qualified? When I use that word, what I mean is it rooted in fact? Is it unbiased? Is it useful? Or is it just like anybody can strut around and mouth off about whatever they want? That's freedom of speech, and I fully support that. But then the trick is whomever is receiving that information has to be able to say, are they a qualified professional on this subject? Do they have the right to evaluate my life? Should I take stock of their words? I think a lot of the mouthy energy, including me, is probably not that qualified. Probably just, whatevs. I dump that. That has no relevance in my life. And I think that's what our character is realizing. So taking their time to get to know somebody better, looking at things through a different lens, a different perspective, and really being not getting caught up in the lies that other people's words can carry. The lies of, hey, you're not good enough. The lies of, you should play your life smaller. I think that our character is really in this place where they are growing to understand that they want to be more mindful with where they place their energy, so they don't have to filter out as many of those lies. I think if they did a really good screening job of who's allowed to have their energy, I think this character is going to have a lot less of those unqualified opinions that they've got to filter out, or those unqualified opinions are just not going to matter so much. Got a Man of Wands. We got a Wheel of Fortune. All right. This is a singles read. This doesn't have to be about love and romance, but I could argue that because our character has that perspective, that is why they're suddenly going to be able to, well, something has changed. They've grown. They've grown to the point where the nonsense doesn't impact them anymore. They don't get derailed by a nonsense maker. They're not troubled by it. And that may be exactly why they're ready to meet someone of real consequence in their life. We've got a Man of Wands, which is like a King of Wands. This could be the next romantic partner for our single individual, or this could be them. However we look at this is somebody who's kind of like got this warm, open-hearted energy, but a king is always discerning. They are an action taker. They choose well for themselves. They're unafraid to show their emotion, but they don't have their fire put out by anyone, at least not very easily. It's real hard to take down a king, because a king sees and hears what everybody else is doing, and they go, well, that's their path. This is mine. That's what it means to be a king, right? Is to know oneself a little bit better. They've completed some journeys. They've already been the pages. They've already been all the knights. Now they've reached this level of self-conviction where it's like, yes, but I know my motive. Other people can accuse me of this, that, and everything else, but that's not my motive. And it doesn't matter. Their opinion of me is their business, not mine. And I kind of think that that's where we're at with our lead character, but that might also be why they're ready to attract that quality of person. Somebody where I really think if our character had known a handful of people that were insulting or jealous of them, I kind of think they're going to have a real easy time of just laughing that kind of stuff off now. And I think it's because it doesn't impact them, but that's also why they're going to be able to meet somebody who's on that same level as they are. It's one other side note, and I'm thinking it, so I've got to say it. I can't help but wonder if there wasn't some jealous, not a love triangle per se, because remember, our lead character has been single. But what I could imagine is that our lead character has somebody that admires them, a King of Wands. That might have been one of the other underlying sources of frustration or jealousy on behalf of this Queen of Wands. This could have even been somebody who said, well, I'm mad at you because a King of Wands is attracted to you. I'm mad at you because they should be attracted to me. I'm a Queen of Wands. Yeah, but darling, you're in the reverse. They got to work on themselves a little bit. Whoever this person was who could have kind of been a real thorn in our lead character's side for a little while, it feels like there wasn't a love triangle per se, but in their mind, there could have been like, well, you're taking what should be mine. Somebody is drawn to you that should be drawn to me. I think that no longer matters, but I do still say that the time has come to kind of go beyond that petty drama in the background, because a King of Wands is going to make their choice. The difference is if our single character, this could be more complicated. Forgive me for turning this into a bit of a soap opera, but I can't help it. This is what I see, so I'll go ahead and say it. I'm wondering if somewhere in the recesses of our lead character's mind, remember that key is unlocking something. You know that we've had that mystery already because we saw the moon card there. So we've had locked up energy and mystery. It could be that somewhere in the back of our character's mind, they knew that a King of Wands was interested in them. And at the same time, there was someone else who didn't like them for precisely that reason. They themselves no longer care. Our lead character is finally moved beyond. If they ever subconsciously thought, I probably can't have anything to do with this King of Wands, even though I kind of get this vibe that they might be interested in me. You notice he's over here like trying to like flag us down here. If they held back a little bit from a King of Wands because of this weird turmoil that existed with that Queen of Wands in the reverse, that jealous streak, maybe it's like, well, I'm not allowed to date someone because that was their ex or something. I think that's kind of gone out the window. This says everything's moving forward. Our single character is just that, single, free to choose whatever they want for their life. So is this King of Wands, free, single, clear, able to choose whomever they want in their life. Nobody gets to put restrictions on anybody else's, who their heart can love, who they can be attracted to. Every person is their own sovereign being. And I think that's really what this Wheel of Fortune is talking about. Sometimes we place limitations on things subconsciously because like, oh, well, that's taboo. I know they're kind of interested, but they used to date so-and-so. She's clearly salty about it, so I better not date them. Nah. In this case, it's like, what do you mean? We're all adults and grown-ups. Nobody owns anybody else. We choose what we wish, and we all have to just make peace with that. I kind of think that's the real like profound message on this one, is that each character has to go ahead and live their life without worrying too much about who approves or disapproves. Because if that is how we decided what we were allowed to do as well, will this bend somebody else's, like jealous streak? We can't really worry too much about that. Otherwise, we'd never have the opportunity, I would say, to ever live according to what our soul wants to explore and experience. And I think that's just a nice, like, it's a big release in this storytelling from what I can see anyway. So there's a lot of different little side stories and messages in that one, but that's kind of the biggest takeaway, is every character has to make choices for their own life. And I don't feel like any character here is trying to be dishonorable or, get something. Our lead character is not feeling good about themselves that somebody else is jealous of them. I like that there's none of that petty energy coming off of our lead character, nor that King of Wands. So anyway, I'm going to leave that one there. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I appreciate each and every one of you. It's always a delight. Hi, Delinda. Hi, Nancy. Oh, Vatsala, thank you, sweetheart. Always good to see you. Miss Hermit, I'm delighted you're in the house. Great to see you. Hello, hello. Hey, Elia. EM, always nice to see you, sweetheart. Good to see you. Transparent Lotus, thank you for the beautiful, I know I was sassy in that one, wasn't I? Thank you for the beautiful little hibiscus emoji. I love it. Hey, Melinda. Oh, how cute. You put the bumblebee on there. I love it. Greetings to London. So glad you're here. You are very welcome, my dear. I'm intending on getting another Taurus one out today, so just watch for that, my darling. Hi, Anand. Good to see you. This is like twice in a row. That's wonderful. MC42, hey, hey. Oh, Nina B, wonderful to see you. Are you back home after your birthday celebration? You went to Barbados, right? Isn't that what you said in the comment? I'm so excited for you. I hope you'll give me an update of how it was, what you thought of it. I've not been there myself, so that's really exciting. By the way, Nina, I don't know if you can hear, but Aries is snoring over there in the corner. So hi, Hannah. All right, you guys, have a wonderful, wonderful afternoon. I'm going to be doing zodiacs on and off all day today. Dawn, awesome to see you. You're here. Good to see you. Hey, Janine. All right, you guys, I will see you again soon. All right, bye for now.